sometimes I have to explain to Jojo because he tells me he feels bad that he didn't get to know his mother. From pictures, he can tell who she is. And I say, yeah, that's sad. But some of the encouragement I try to give him is I tell him, hey, Jojo, I'm sure even in school, you're not the only one who doesn't have a mother, okay? And I also tell him, I'm sure in school also there are some of your friends who don't have a father. Or I even tell them there are some who don't even know who their father is. So your situation is not unique. Just make the most of it, okay? So you have your daddy here, all right? You have sisters. Your sisters drop you in school because the girls here have, I would say, I must thank them, they're quite responsible. So I have been helped a lot in terms of errands in the house. If it's shopping, and I'm not able to do it myself, if it's picking Jojo from school or dropping him, taking him for his swim training, between Samora and JC, they do a very good job. Other challenges I have, and this one is a big one, boyfriends. Because we're talking about JC is now 20 years old, Samora is 22, Alexis will be turning 24. I've not been very clear on how to deal with that, but from what I've seen from what they do is if they do bring their friends to the house, they make sure I meet them. They also know I have certain unwritten standards. When you bring somebody here, I want to hear positive things. I want to hear they're in school. I want to hear they're progressive. I want to see they're responsible. I don't want to hear about drugs. I don't want to hear about alcohol. But none of them has actually come and told me, this is my boyfriend. No, this is my friend. And body language, I can see maybe Samora about 2 years ago had a boyfriend who we had a chat with, and she told me she didn't think he was taking her in the right direction, and she dropped him. That's what I would say. I think in a nutshell, that's partly what the experiences have been. One of the things I would also bring up, the kids are also, having grown to where they are right now, they also ask me certain questions about what is my plan. Because right now it's been 8.5 years since their mom passed. I'm not dating. I'd use the word dating in terms of openly, in the sense I've not brought anybody currently who is a potential partner. They know I have a friend out there, but they know very well that I have not made it very clear that there's somebody else in my life. JC is most interesting. She's the one who comes and tells me, Daddy, I understand. You need company, all right? I am ready. Anytime you're ready, you let me know. Samara tells me that she knows that I need company, but she knows she will not accept, okay? Of course, Alexis, who is out there, of course, because of the distance and everything, she is always curious to know if there's somebody. Yeah, and she's telling me when it's ready, I let it out. I saw somebody briefly in the year 2012. That was about 2 years after. But it's somebody I'd met outside the country in Ghana, and I, at some point, felt it's complicated, all right? And I didn't think I was really offering her the best because she was in the media there, and I didn't see how it was really going to work. So the rest I leave to the powers that be. Whatever path the Lord has decided, that's how I leave it at. Joyce comes from a big family. They are 16, yeah, but from her mother there are 8, all right? Of the 8, 6 were girls. So essentially, on the mother's side, my kids have the privilege of having 5 aunties. Actually, there are more because of, I think there are at least, I would say 6 aunties. Now, they are close with them and they have taken it upon themselves. So there's Auntie Kadzo, Auntie Evelini, Auntie Flora. In fact, Flora stayed with us some time back for about a year. That was when the mom had gone to India, as I had mentioned. So I would say those aunties help a lot. My mother also has been instrumental, because my mom also lived with us for about 2 years after the demise of Joyce. So she did play a role. Then I also have my sister, immediate sister, here, who is, they call her Auntie Symph. She has a very important role. The one that I found most interesting, I have a sister in the US who's been there from, I would say, maybe around 2004. But I found out they have a very close knit with my daughters. And sometimes I feel she's that far, but she knows more about what's happening in their life. That helps them a lot. The other thing that is most interesting is, despite the fact that their mom is not alive, still, the experiences they had with their mom, they still have a role. They still talk about the kind of things that mom would not tolerate. And the mom, as I told you, the issue of sparing the whip, she used it. The rod, she used it. And she would beat the living daylights out of them if she felt they were going off course. Yeah. The boys, there's an uncle, I would say. The boys is interesting, yeah. The boys are, I would say, have the advantage because of, one, their dad is there, but also there are quite a number of, there's my brother who is based in the UK. Actually, he was here just for the last 2 weeks. He's just left. They have a relationship with him. And then I also have quite a number of cousins who are around who I interact a lot with. So they have an idea of where they want to go. But as the father, be there for the kids, all right? These kids must, okay, for me, it's maybe the way else was brought up. You must know how to wash clothes. You must know how to do house chores. You must know how to wash the vyombos. You must be able to make your bed. You must shower without being told, brush your teeth. And those are some of the things that are difficult sometimes, especially boys. You can find your son has not brushed his teeth. So if you don't monitor and follow that, then you start wondering, why is it that he has no teeth when he's 15 years, or why is it when he says hi to you, you are looking the other way? Somehow what is interesting, my daughters have helped me, especially with the boys. I would say the bringing up my boys, my daughters have helped me a lot, because they are, I would say, rough on them in terms of ensuring they shower, they cook, they wash dishes, they clear the table, they are organized for school, and where they are short on it, they're not short on using the whip on them. Sometimes as a parent you can get obsessed with, I would say, pursuing the material wealth and providing for the kids, but you forget to know the kids. It is very, very important that when somebody describes to you your child, they should be describing somebody you know. You know, you can actually be a stranger. If I wake up every day here, 6 in the morning, I'm off. I come home every day, midnight, they don't see me, but I have provided all the food, I've provided, they're in school and everything. There's a part that is missing. I came up with a strategy I use sometimes. I do it annually, but maybe I can improve it and do it every holidays. Take each child out, you one-on-one with the child. Let them be free. Forget about that in a group. No. Joseph and Stephen and Daddy, go out. Spend the day with them. Let themselves out with you. Let them get quality time with you on a one-on-one. So I do that with each one of them. I still believe I can do better. All right? Then try and watch out for telltale signs of challenges your child is having, especially when they're deceitful. You know, your child, how do you know if your child is going to school, by the way? You can drop the child. Okay, of course, some of the schools have got strict operations, so once the child is dropped, they can't leave until the evening. But how do you know what your child is doing in school? Do you get feedback? Try and have a conversation so that you can feel that your child is in school. You can feel the kind of friends they have. You can feel their aspirations. That's the minimum I think you should do as a parent. One other thing I want to say about the demise of when somebody loses anybody, whether it's a father, mother, wife, child, spouse, it impacts differently on everybody. The impact of the loss of Joyce in this house, how I've dealt with it, how my kids, each one of them, it's all different. The most you can do to support somebody who has lost a loved one is just to be there for them. But there's a statement we like making as human beings: I know what you're going through. You have no idea what somebody's going through. I have had friends who have subsequently lost their spouses since I lost my wife, and I'm just there for them, but I don't tell them I know what you're going through, because what he's going through is very, very different from what I went through. Now, there's a friend of mine who lost his wife. It was about 4 years before I lost my wife. She was having a baby and it went haywire. And I remember him telling me, he's my good friend, Dr. Shikanda, he told me when I lost my wife, he told me, you know, I'm your friend, but I want to tell you in black and white, you're on your own. Black and white. So essentially, when the incident has just happened, you will really get a lot of support because it's really tragic and people will be there to help you. But at the end of you really have to start thinking, how are you going to, I like calling it like a company, make it a going concern, run profitably. You have to look out for the welfare of the kids. You have to look out first for your welfare, because if you're not okay, you're not going to be able to manage the lives of the kids who you've been left with. When it comes to relationships, I would also say those should not be the first thing which you should rush into. Because remember, I like using the word, you are going to be having baggage, whether you like it or not. I have 5 kids. Anybody I interact with, I am bringing my 5 kids, and in a way that person is going to feel that they are going to have that responsibility. And it's not easy. I think it's a lot to ask for. I think that is really one of the places I would say real counseling would have to occur. Somebody would say the best person to link up with is maybe somebody else who also has kids, but my specs are, don't determine who the person is, so long as, one, you are friends with them, they understand your circumstances, they are not burying it under the sand, and they know that it is something that they would have to, are willing to take on, okay? And don't pressure them. And don't look for a replacement. You cannot replace, I can't replace Joyce. As an architect, sometimes we specify products. We say, can I get an equal or equivalent? All right? Yeah. She's passed. You will never be able to get another Joyce, but you can meet somebody else who you can start your life again with. The kids, as I say, is really one of the challenging parts. That's why sometimes they say, let the kids grow, move out of the house, and then you can move on. That is one of the options, but it's not cast in stone. I would also say, I think it's human nature naturally. If a man has lost his wife and he has daughters and he links up with a new lady, it will always be a bit difficult, because that lady who comes in is trying to replace their mother, okay? And girls are very close to their fathers, so that is never smooth. For the boys, it's not difficult for the boys to accept, I would call it in quotes, a mother replacement. When it's the scenario of a lady having lost her husband, I'm not an authority there, I can tell you for sure. It's difficult. I think it's even more difficult. Yeah. Make sure you keep your God next to you all the time. In the difficult times and also in the joyous times. Say thank you.